Okay, so you've probably heard the name pirate software floating around lately, right?
Oh, yeah. The internet's been having a bit of a field day.
A bit. Yeah, and it's not exactly been positive coverage for him. He's this popular game dev streamer.
And today, we're really going to get into it. We're doing a deep dive into this whole controversy swirling around him.
Exactly. We want to unpack all this evidence that different creators have been digging up.
And look at Pirate Software's side, too. Or rather, his persistent refusal to really acknowledge the core issues.
Yeah, and why the internet reaction has been so strong, so intense.
We're pulling from a bunch of sources here, some really detailed deep dives. Videos from people like Tectone, Quinn69 TV, Nicholas Diorio.
Right, they've gone through everything. His whole public image, the game Heartbound, or Sharkbound, as some are calling it now.
His coding, which, wow, we'll get to that. And even, like, how he came across in that interview with Dr. K.
It's not just about the drama, though, is it?
No, not at all. It's actually, like, a fascinating look at digital personas, right, and public accountability.
And that whole psychology of just doubling down when everyone's pointing out the problem.
Exactly. So stick with us, and you'll get the full picture, way beyond just the headlines. It's a complex story.
Definitely. Okay, let's start with the persona, this image he built.
Right, the fabricated persona, and how it started to, well, unravel.
He had this very distinct image, didn't he? The indie dev with that really deep, kind of sultry voice. It was his brand.
Totally central to it. But then clips surfaced, right? From an interview like 8 years back.
Yeah, and his voice sounds, well, pretty different, higher pitched.
And there's this source, Expert Emily, who pointed out his streaming mic setup probably uses reverb to get that deep sound.
So maybe not his natural speaking voice, or at least heavily enhanced.
Makes you think, doesn't it, about authenticity online.
For sure. But it wasn't just the voice. He also claimed, what was it, over 20 years in the gaming industry.
Yeah, that's a big claim. And this is where things get really interesting.
Because the reality seems a bit different. The investigations found he started in QA at Blizzard.
Quality assurance, yeah. And then moved on to sending phishing emails, which is not quite senior game development.
Not quite the seasoned veteran image. And other creators picked up on this.
Oh, definitely. Like Quinn69 TV, he didn't mince words, called him a stolen valor coder, a fake person.
Wow, strong words.
Even compared him to Elon Musk. You know, big claims, maybe not the deep expertise underneath.
Yeah, it's a heavy comparison.
And Nicholas Diorio basically said Pirate Software either lied about his experience or, at the very minimum, played it off as something that it's really not.
So the foundation of the persona, the voice, the experience starts looking shaky.
Exactly. And when you claim that much experience, people expect, well, they expect results, right? Which brings us to the game itself.
Right. Heartbound, the product of this supposed veteran, and it's seriously under fire.
It started as a Kickstarter project, raised about $20,000 back in 2017.
And it was pitched as a proper RPG, you know, with combat and everything.
But here we are, 8 years later, and there's only one completed chapter.
8 years, one chapter. Oof.
And critics like Lord Frogmire are basically saying it's hardly a game. That's pretty damning after that long.
Hardly a game. Let's break that down based on Frogmire's review. The gameplay elements are just sparse.
Shockingly sparse. You've got one unique combat encounter.
Yeah, described as like a super simple minute-long WarioWare thing, and it's just repeated once.
So 2 minutes of that specific combat. And then the puzzles.
Oh, the puzzles. 3 of them aren't even really puzzles, apparently. More like shape-sorting toys for toddlers. No way to fail, only one thing you can do.
Right. There is one real puzzle with a code, but even that...
You can just skip it. Apparently, putting in 7 ones just bypasses it entirely.
Seriously. Okay. And the other mini-games?
Like serving sandwiches, dodging falling stuff. Described as hello world level programming. Super basic stuff.
So after 8 years of development... The total combat time across those 2 encounters is what?
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
3.5 minutes of combat in 8 years for an RPG. Wow.
It's kind of mind-boggling. And the story, the writing quality, didn't fare much better, did it?
Not according to critics. It got compared to, like, general 13-year-old girl writing or stuff you'd find on Tumblr fan fiction sites.
Ouch. Does it manage to create emotional connection?
Apparently not. There's a dog character, central to the plot, dies. But you only spend 5 minutes with it. How invested can you get?
Right. And it's an abusive mother character seen once in a flashback. Hard to build depth there.
And player choices seem really superficial. Like, an evil voice literally tells you which option is good and which is bad.
Takes all the subtlety out of it.
Yeah. And the irony, pointed out by critics, is that this game feels like it was made by a teenage girl, but is actually by a 37-year-old man who claims decades of experience.
It's just a tough look all around. Persona issues, the game itself seems unfinished and underdeveloped.
But because when people started looking at the actual code,
Yeah.
that's when things went from questionable to just baffling.
Yeah, this is where it gets really technical, but also kind of fascinatingly bad, from what I gather.
Oh, it's wild. Lord Frogmire, looking at the code, just said it was the worst I have ever seen, called it baffling.
Even suggested it might have been made bad on purpose. That's a strange thought.
Right. And the consensus seemed to be that, like, 99% of the game could have been built using something like RPG Maker.
Which requires basically no actual coding.
Exactly. So all the complex, messy code he did right was just unnecessary.
Okay, so unnecessary and bad. What were some specifics?
Well, even just playing the game, the interface is apparently annoying. You have to do this weird left-click, right-click, left-click thing just to advance text.
Just to read, that sounds tedious. Shows a lack of focus on the player, maybe?
You'd think so.
Mm.
And the coding itself.
Right.
Fundamental errors, using complicated structures like switch statements for things a simple if could handle.
Like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
Pretty much. And checking Boolean values, true or false, in a really redundant way, like writing if is ready 1 instead of just if is ready. It's basic stuff.
Feels like extra steps for no reason.
And then there's the claim he intentionally avoided using basic things like loops or functions.
Loops let you repeat code easily. Functions let you reuse chunks of code. Why avoid them?
The theory put forward was maybe to make the code base look bigger. Or cooler, because it was just more code, even if it was repetitive junk.
Quantity over quality, literally.
Yeah. And choosing to use 0 and 1 instead of true and false because allegedly numbers look cooler. It's style over substance to an extreme degree.
That's just bizarre. What about performance? Did all this affect how the game runs?
Oh, massively. Coding Jesus did a deep dive, especially on the lighting engine Pirate Software wrote.
What did he find?
It loops over every single pixel in a sprite, performs collision checks twice, doesn't stop early even if it finds what it needs.
That sounds computationally expensive.
Hugely. In testing, that lighting code alone ate up like 99.7% of the CPU. Performance was apparently abysmal.
Okay, there has to be a reason for doing it that way, right? What was his defense?
Get ready for this. He claimed this incredibly slow, pixel-by-pixel, CPU-based method was for compatibility.
Compatibility with what?
With smart fridges.
Smart fridges.
And machines in places like Brazil that supposedly cannot compile shaders, modern graphics code. He said performance benchmarks were meaningless.
So he tanked the game's performance for potential fridge players. That's quite the justification.
It was widely seen as nonsensical. Like you said, prioritizing theoretical fridge gameplay over making it run well on actual computers.
Okay, beyond the lighting, other structural issues.
Yeah, the dialogue system used this clunky two-dimensional array think, a giant, messy spreadsheet, making it hard to manage and scale. Not like modern methods using JSON files, which are way cleaner.
And magic numbers, what are those?
Just random numbers scattered in the code with no explanation. What does 3 mean? Only he knows, maybe. Makes it impossible for anyone else or even future him to understand.
Like leaving cryptic notes only you can decipher.
Exactly. Plus, basic stuff missing, like checking if a file exists before trying to read it. That's like programming 101 error handling.
And he tried to defend some of this based on the game engine, Game Maker.
Yeah, he claimed Booleans true-false weren't defined in Game Maker. But the actual documentation shows constants true and false exist and are recommended. So the technical defenses didn't really hold water against the evidence.
So the persona, the game, the code, all facing heavy criticism backed by evidence. How did Pirate Software react?
This is the core of it, right? The doubling down. Quinn69TV brought back that Elon Musk comparison.
Right, someone completely full of it, but just keeps insisting they're right, despite everything.
Yeah, and the sentiment online became overwhelmingly negative. Quinn69 said, everybody fucking hates this guy now. The entire internet is turned against him.
That's a huge shift. How did Pirate Software handle the criticism directly?
A lot of deflection and projection, it seems. Calling critics grifters, saying they're hate-chasing, using bias and sometimes false information.
Basically attacking the critics rather than addressing the substance of their points.
Pretty much. There were examples given of him disliking critical comments while wanting his own highlighted. And moderators in his stream allegedly banning people for mentioning hashtags like hashtag stop killing games.
Trying to control the narrative, shut down dissent.
Seems that way. But the wildest defense, the one that really got people talking, was the ARG excuse.
The alternate reality game, how does that fit in?
He claimed the bad code, the magic numbers, the weird structures was intentional. Part of an ARG for dedicated fans to reverse engineer the game and find hidden lore.
So, the terrible code wasn't incompetence, it was a secret puzzle.
That was the claim. But it was widely slammed as just a poor excuse for his bad practice, right? A classic example of deflection.
Sacrificing basic code quality for a super niche ARG seems counterintuitive for game development.
Especially when 99% of players would never engage with that. They just want a game that works well. It points to that core issue again. An inability or refusal to just own the flaws.
And this refusal to learn, to accept criticism, really came through in that Dr. K interview, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Dr. K, the healthy gamer coach, tried to engage with him. But Pirate Software apparently framed feedback as conversational PvP.
Like, it's a fight to be won, not a chance to learn.
Exactly. He struggled with direct challenges to his views.
What were Dr. K's takeaways?
Dr. K noted Pirate Software seemed to have blind spots, a certain smugness, and engaged in selective storytelling, basically, unable to see how his own actions were contributing to the negative backlash.
That self-awareness piece seems crucial.
And Dr. K made a really stark comment. He said something like, people like this don't get fixed until they lose everything.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah, he even drew a parallel to another online figure, Def Noodles, who apparently also refused criticism until hitting rock bottom forced some introspection. It really highlights the psychological block some people have against admitting fault, especially public figures.
So putting it all together,
Yeah,
this deep dive reveals a really clear pattern, doesn't it?
absolutely. You have the inflated persona, the game that didn't deliver, the code that's objectively problematic by most standards.
And then the consistent refusal to acknowledge any of it. Doubling down, deflecting, blaming critics, despite just overwhelming evidence.
And it's more than just drama about one streamer. It really shows you how online accountability works, or sometimes doesn't. The power of collective scrutiny when people start digging.
And those psychological defenses kicking in when someone's public image is threatened. It's like watching a case study unfold in real time.
It really is. How that need to appear perfect can actually backfire and make things so much worse.
So for you listening, what's the takeaway here? Pirate Software's story shows that popularity, having a big stream, it doesn't make you immune to criticism, especially when there are fundamental problems with your work or your claims.
And that inability or unwillingness to listen to valid critique, even from experts, seems to have trapped him. He's stuck in this cycle of doubling down, which just fuels more condemnation from the internet.
The internet seems to have run out of patience for denying the undeniable, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought, I think.
That's that.
What does it actually take for someone in that position, a public figure, built an identity on expertise to finally just come clean? To admit mistakes, learn from them when the evidence is stacked so high against them.
And if they did do that, what kind of impact could that honesty have on how people see them, on their reputation long term?
Yeah. Something to think about, especially as we all navigate these online spaces filled with carefully crafted personas.